And so you're saying, hey, look, we need a different kind of platform, whether it's Lego-like or modular or whatever language we want to use, that the old, bureaucratic approach, hierarchical approach to data is going to be insufficient.
It is. And if I look at, if you flip to the next slide, I think we've just done a survey of about 300, not about, exactly 300 managers globally. And I love this, well, I put the slide together, so of course I love it. But just the juxtaposition of these two numbers. So the 12% represents those managers that, I guess, admitted to having a formal research management platform. So how do they generate their ideas around where they invest the capital? And the 73% represents those that would say the benefit of a repeatable process where their best ideas are reviewed and resurfaced continuously. So I put those two numbers together. We say 12% of people do this, 73% say it's valuable. Clearly, there's a disconnect. And I think that gap needs to close. And I would close that gap by increasing the 12%, not by shrinking the 73%.
Yes.
And we do expect that to continue. And we're at a point where I think some of the lack of, the reason for the 12% rather, is that the availability of technology and capabilities is only now starting to evolve. And historically, portfolio managers, asset managers may be some of the biggest culprits of this. They live in spreadsheets.
Sure.
As good as spreadsheets are, and we've all benefited from them,
Sure.
the ability to work across teams, to collaborate, to have good data, have a real digitized process is limited. And you see this mental mosaic of a portfolio manager with his Excel spreadsheets, his email, and his research notes all sitting on his desk. And while he's sitting there looking at it, he's feeling comfortable about what he's doing. But his ability to work across a team with his research analysts is, I'll say, difficult. And if I were being unkind, I'd say impossible.
Yeah. Well, I mean, and you and I both know Dan Bricklin, the co-inventor of the spreadsheet, right? And if you talk to Dan, he saw that coming. I mean, because he just did it. He just created VisiCalc because he was sick of doing 10-year projections as a Harvard Business School student. And I was a Harvard Business School student. I wasn't as bright as that. But anyway, Dan, but he totally understood this issue, right? He created what I think of as, the beginning of Google Sheets, basically, which is, he did social text and, social calc and that idea of, how do we create something where everybody can work on it together? But, he's not an enterprise software guy. He's off doing other stuff now. But
well, and it's funny. One of the expressions that I hear repeatedly as we talk to various participants in this space is that term of tyranny of spreadsheets.
Yes.
So they're opaque. The data that's in them is good at a point in time, but any changes and all of those challenges, and it's surfaced again in that book, The Technologized Investor. They spend a lot of time talking.
Oh, okay, I haven't read it. Yeah.
And I was hooked because on the first page of the book they talk about Cuchulainn, the mythical Irish warrior. So straight away they grab me and I'm in. But they talk a lot about the tyranny of spreadsheets. And one of the examples that I like coming back to, just because it's had some maturity now, is Salesforce. Salesforce has a capability going back 10 years ago. Relationship management and sales teams were living in spreadsheets, and their ability to collaborate was, again, nigh on impossible.
Sure.
Salesforce gives everyone the same single pane of glass. We're all working with the same understanding of what the client is or the prospect is and what's been happening with that relationship. So everyone is current, everyone is up to speed. Phone rings from that client. The person sitting there on the phone is as intelligent as the last person that talked to them 2 weeks ago. And that makes for a very different relationship. And that is all data-driven.
Yeah, and as you and I have discussed, even with some of the military leaders at some of these events that you and I participated in, they talk about that shared information environment, and that's so foundational to the agile organization, right? And they come out from a warfighting standpoint, but that you know, the what they call it, the edge-based organization, right? That ability to synchronize around the problem, to have similar status, and to your point, it creates a fantastic customer experience.
Yeah. And
Um,
without it, some of the challenges today we see without that flow of data or a digitized process, there's a lack of a feedback loop,
yeah,
the inability to move beyond anecdotal evidence for anything in particular.